and welcome back to the Green Developer channel. I wanted to do something a little bit different from my usual programming content today. It's always been a goal of me with this channel to kind of encourage people to achieve what they want to achieve. The vehicle for that, for the most part, has been programming and encouraging people to kind of pursue their independent development challenges and projects that they want to achieve. But what I've heard and what's been kind of trickling down also from these videos that I've been posting is that a lot of people, especially programmers, just because of the topics I touch on this channel, have also been kind of encouraged to try to start YouTube channels and streaming and things like that for themselves too, so that they can also share their journey and I guess in the same sense encourage other people to pursue the same thing I'm pursuing on here. And since I've recently reached 200 subscribers on this channel, I thought it would be a good point to kind of look back on it and give advice to the people that might be starting their own channel, whether it's related to programming or not. Why do I say it's a good time right now? And that's because, first of all, I think it's still fresh enough and my channel is still very small in the grand scheme of things, which means that I still completely understand the reality of not having great equipment or not having a big budget to try to make your videos better. But at the same time, it's also kind of big enough that I know that the content I've been creating so far has an audience. It's gotten out of the initial phase of being really difficult to kind of reach anybody in the first place. And so I think it's kind of a nice middle ground right now between, having gotten out of that very initial phase, but still, understanding how it is to have a very new and not yet quite successful channel. So what do I want to touch upon today more specifically? Well, I want to give some advice on what to prioritize as far as equipment goes to produce videos that are going to be good quality but at a smaller cost. I think it's probably one of the biggest things when starting a YouTube channel, especially if you want it to be something that goes on for a long time and something that has nice quality and some professionalism to it. People don't necessarily have the budget to kind of reach everything that some of those big content creators are doing, but there's still ways to kind of make it nice and feel professional at a fraction of the cost if you prioritize the right things. Now, I'm obviously not going to be able to help you if what you want to do is do slow motion 4K videos, but if you have somewhat of a more standard YouTube channel where maybe you want to just share your thoughts and things like that, there's definitely some ways to make it look like better quality videos at a small cost. So let's start with the first thing and the most important thing to me that you can upgrade at a very small cost that's going to have the biggest impact on your videos. And in my opinion, that's upgrading your audio equipment. That means buying some type of microphone that's better than the default microphone you're going to end up using, whether you're using your phone to record videos or, some compact camera or something like that. Anything that kind of, upgrades the sound quality of your videos away from that very basic, maybe kind of bad sound quality that you might have. And now it doesn't have to be something super complicated. You don't have to start looking at $200 mics. Something like a $30 mic, if you choose the right thing for what you're actually wanting to do, is probably going to be plenty enough to just make the quality decent enough that it doesn't turn people away from your videos. And that's the big thing about audio and, the idea behind what I'm trying to talk about today. For the most part, when trying to do videos and attract people, the big fight you're trying to fight is not to wow them with the quality of the production. People are going to be much more interested in your videos if you have good content and are not necessarily going to stay or click on your videos because it's in 4K and it's got that insane production quality. What might happen though is if your video or your sound quality is very, very bad, it might make people turn away from the video after they start watching it. So you're kind of working backwards when you're starting to make videos and you're working with a limited budget. You're not trying to wow people with the quality of your videos, but you're definitely trying to make sure that it's not annoying to them because your quality is so low. And that's exactly why, in my opinion, you should focus on at least getting decent audio equipment as the first thing you should be focusing on. The reality of it is, even if you have not so great video quality, as long as it's not completely horrible, and as long as your content is good, it's not going to frustrate people to the point where they want to click away from it. That's a different story when it comes to the audio that people are getting in their videos. If you have something that's extremely scratchy or that keeps popping or that picks up the wind so much that you can barely hear what's going on, for some reason, people's brain work in a way that audio input becomes a lot more annoying if it's terrible quality. And if you can make sure that the people that are watching your video avoid that feeling when watching your content, it's gonna go a long way to make your videos feel like a lot better quality. Okay, second, and at the same time third thing, because I think it's kind of interchangeable depending on your own situation. In my personal case, I'll put lighting as the second thing you should be working towards for two basic reasons. First of all, it's an upgrade that you can make that's not that expensive and that's going to have a big effect on how your videos turn out looking. And it has the big effect of making worst quality cameras look a lot better. Here's the way I look at it. If you have kind of an average camera and terrible lighting, your videos are probably not going to come out that great. But if you have a kind of subpar camera with excellent lighting, it's going to turn out kind of nice anyway. That's something that people kind of shy away at first because they think that they need to get the better camera all the time to have the video that they want. But for the most part, as long as you have some type of HD camera and you're not doing some crazy action type footage, especially if you're just sitting in front of a camera and talking or doing still shots, just having a basic, diffused soft lighting is going to do a great job at making whatever camera you're using look 10 times better than you thought it would be able to. Same thing as for the audio. It doesn't have to be something crazy. You don't have to have 5 lights in different directions to make sure it covers you completely. As long as you can maybe have 1 or 2 kind of soft lights that give some nice diffused things so that you don't have really heavy spots of light in your face like you would if you would be using a lamp, you're probably going to get much better results than you think. And here's the thing, even if you can't afford some kind of more specific lighting option, just try to get creative and use your time instead of your money to find a solution. There's plenty of people that show online how to make some soft boxes that can be used for making your videos, and maybe they're not going to be as great as if you buy something that's specifically made for that, but in most cases it's still gonna make it so your videos turn out a lot better. Which brings us to the third thing, and in my opinion the thing that you need to worry about the least when it comes to creating quality content for a new channel, and that's your camera equipment. Now I know what you're thinking. You probably think, like most people that start creating videos, that the most important thing they need to worry about is the quality of their camera. But here's the reality of it. Maybe that would have been true 10 years ago or 15 years ago or whatever. But here's the thing nowadays. Most people have a completely capable camera in their pocket at all times. They have a phone which for the most case is probably able to shoot HD videos at different frame rates enough to cover most of what you need. In most cases nowadays, if your phone isn't that old, it probably even has options to do time lapses or to do slow motion videos. And yes, if you buy a camera, it's going to be able to do so much more than that and probably at a better quality. But the upgrade that you're going to get from your phone is going to be much smaller than what you're going to get from investing in decent lighting and decent audio equipment for the same amount of money invested. Let's look at it that way. If you were to put $500 in a new point-and-shoot camera instead of using the phone that you already have with you, your video quality might be a little bit better. I don't know how much better, it depends on the context in which you're using it in. But if you were instead to spend only $100, you're going to get a lot more from your money if you buy better quality lighting and better quality sound equipment for your videos. And obviously if you combine both, you're going to get much better results than if you're using your camera. But the thing is, if you're on a really limited budget, it's the last thing you should be worrying about, at least making sure that you have some decent setup for your sound and your lighting beforehand. Plus, one of the nice things about using phones is that there's a ton of third-party add-ons that can be added to either, the apps that you're using to shoot your videos or even lenses that you can put on your phone that make things a little bit more professional. For example, on my phone, which I'm using to shoot this, I've been using an app called Filmic Pro, which just basically allows me to monitor the sound, have a little bit more control over the exposure and the white balance of the video I shoot. Something to give me a little bit more control over what I'm doing, like I would be able to if I was using an actual camera. On top of that, every now and then, just to give me a little bit more range of things I can do with the camera, I also have a moment lens that allows me to capture wider angles. Fairly cheap, something like $100 to $150 depending on the lens that you choose, but they really do allow you to have a much more wide range of things that you can do with your phone, and that usually results in higher quality production for your videos. So that's a lot of, tiny things, maybe $20 for a shooting app that makes it a little bit better to shoot quality video, $100 for a lens, and you might be thinking, at this point, is it just better to have bought a camera, because that's kind of starting to add up to a couple $100 maybe. At least in my opinion, and in my particular case, I've spent a lot less on my equipment so far than what I would have had to do if I bought a camera. There are a lot of small things, but they kind of add up to giving you a lot of range over the things that you can do and cover all the basics so that you can do very nice quality videos at a low cost. And it's really easy from there to just kind of see whenever you're working on your videos what's kind of lacking and just work towards upgrading those parts one at a time. So anyway, I hope this was helpful to at least some of you guys out there. If you're thinking about starting a YouTube channel, just do it. It's a ton of fun. If you're a programmer like me, it's a great way to keep yourself motivated to work on your projects, because you kind of feel like you owe it to people to update them on what's happening. And at the same time, you're going to have a much greater impact than you think by encouraging people to do the same for themselves. So anyway, as I said, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to hit the like button, and if you want to see more content, make sure to hit subscribe. Either way, I'll see you next week. Until then, take care.